Hi, my name is Xyrus Roldan, and today I will be joined by.
CJ Manuel.
And Jesse Alonzo.
Today, we're gonna explore the field of electronics prototyping. This is Tech Talks.
So let's get started. Electricity is the movement of electrons, and electrons have a charge. Electrons naturally move from negative to positive charge. And in a closed path that allows electric charge to continuously move is an electric circuit. Materials that allow many electrons to move freely are called conductors, and materials that allow few free electrons to move are insulators. Current is the flow of electrons. It is determined by the number of electrons passing through a cross-section of a conductor in 1 second. A material's tendency to resist the flow of charge is called resistance, and the force motivating the charge to flow in a circuit is voltage. These are the symbols used for each quantity. For charge, the symbol is Q and it's measured in coulombs or C. Current has a symbol of I, measured in amperes or amps. Voltage, symbol of V, measured in volts. And resistance, R, is measured in ohms or the Greek letter omega. Basic thing you need to know is the Ohm's law. The amount of electric current through a metal conductor in a circuit is directly proportional to the voltage across it. So this is the equation for determining voltage, current, or resistance. Now here are the components we're gonna be using in prototyping electronics. A breadboard. They are reusable for prototyping circuits since they do not require solderings. The pins are connected to each other as shown below. Others are jumper wires, jumpers with socket ends, the female, or jumpers with pin ends or male to male. Another component is the multimeter. It's used to make various electrical measurements such as current, voltage, and resistance. You use the black and white prongs there and the thumb. For batteries, there are different types of batteries for specific applications. Here are the more common ones. And that is all for this presentation. We're going over the basics.
We then move on to the basic symbols in the drawings when doing a diagram. First and foremost, here is the diode. As you can see, it's a triangle with a very thick rectangular bar at the tip of the direction where the current will be flowing. The second one is the capacitor. In order to understand this, you just need two parallel lines which are perpendicular to the wirings. The next one is the inductor. You can see that it's coiling or it looks like a spring in the circuit diagrams. The resistor is a very sharp zigzagging symbol. Resistors usually obstruct the constant flow of the current. The next one is the DC voltage source, and typically this will have two uneven parallel lines which are also perpendicular to the circuits. The bigger line usually represents the positive charge, whereas the smaller line represents the negative charge. Then we have the AC voltage source, which is typically just symbolized by circle and a backwards S, which is almost horizontal in a way. Then we have here the gates. We have the AND gate, the NAND gate, the OR gate, the NOR gate, SOR gate, and finally the inverter, which is not a gate. So, the soldering iron. This device is what you will be using when you're doing circuitry. When you're trying to connect wirings together, you will be using something called a soldering lead. Soldering lead basically connects those two wires with conduction in mind. You don't just connect them for the sake of keeping them together. You also want electrical pulses to go through them. So that's the use of this device. As you can see, it has its cord, power cord. We have the trusty handle, and we have the soldering tip, and finally we have the heating element inside of it. Now, I won't be plugging this in because I don't want to accidentally handle it, showing it to you guys, but Because it runs on 220 to 240 volts, this means that it gets very, very hot very, very quickly. Usually, the heating element glows bright orange. And as you can see here, there's already a lot of burn marks on the metal itself for the enclosure. It's a simple tool. It's just a very, very, very powerful, and you use it in order to connect your wirings when doing circuitry. And there you have it. We hope that you have learned something new today.
And make sure to tune in to future projects to learn more. Once again, I'm CJ Manuel.
I'm Jesse Alonzo.
And I'm Xyrus Roldan. Thanks for listening to Tech Talks.